we all drift here somehow or other, don't we? We find our way through the waves. Yeah, it's interesting because as you meet lots of different people when they arrive to the island, the question is like, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
And then I actually start to question not who am I, but what do I do?
Yeah.
And so there's sort of been thoughts. I'm here with my objectives of finalising my thesis, but then of course all this creative environment just really like absorbs you.
Yeah.
So you sort of get into that. You feel that vibe, and you feel the creative wave come out of things. So. Yeah, in one way I'm a designer, and in one way I'm an academic, and then in another way I'm, I don't know, some sort of creative practitioner. So I think everything interlaces, and that's actually all the different conversations you have here. You realise that all your topics and all your interests somehow interconnect with everyone in some way or other.
So you feel like, do you feel kind of like you're tapping into other people's creative energy in this environment, or is it just more like... it's reflecting different sides of your creative practice or your thoughts or something like that?
I think this is like a bouncing off of each other going on. That's the weird thing, because I think the first day that I arrived, and I think everyone has that excitable sort of energy when you walk in the door, and then you sort of just throw yourself into the conversations, and then you sort of like morph into sort of different versions of yourself depending who you're talking to.
That's so true. That is so true. And you had the crazy journey on the charter boat. I guess that's like an initiation.
James Bond arrival. But I think that, I guess you can't have a hideaway that's easy to get to, and I think that makes it even more special, that you just like appreciate the journey and appreciate what it is to be here as well.
Yeah, you're on an island. I think I forget when I'm here totally, but then when you came and like had this crazy journey, you remember, okay, it is a little hard to get to, and that's what makes it special.
Yeah,
it's like, why come here, why make the effort, and it's to get into, I guess, state of minds, which I feel like you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a crazy journey. I'd just say it's memorable. I mean, I guess that also sort of elevates the experience of being here, I think.
Yeah.
If you just sort of stepped off the aeroplane and jumped in a taxi and you're here, then that wouldn't be the same. So when I sort of think, I'm home in Copenhagen and took the metro. No, I took a bus. Then I took the metro.
Okay.
Then I took a flight from Copenhagen to Oslo. Then I spent the day at Oslo waiting for connection. And then there was some sort of crazy weird stuff at the airport. So maybe that's like a whole other... But I could just see time was ticking away at the airport, and then we had to change planes, and so
it's a long journey.
Yeah, it was a long journey, but worth the journey. And I as I was saying, it sort of elevates the experience of being here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've ended up staying longer than anticipated.
Yeah, that is just like insane. Yeah, but it's something that I can see needed to happen.
Yeah.
I put on one of my posts where I was like, decide how long you want to stay and then double it.
Yeah, I saw that. But it's kind of fate, I guess, if you're not shocked at the fact that you've ended up staying longer, then maybe you just always knew you were gonna
possibly
be here a longer time than anticipated.
I mean, I was just like shocked that I was even here for the first part, so that it ended up being longer, but it was also clearly what I needed. I think as soon as you get here, you just realise what you do need.
Totally, and everyone who stays here says like, I just wish I had another few days or another week, and it is this feeling you can be here for a long time, but you still want more of this time, because the days are just so different to normal life days, I think, and that's so precious, so you just want to hold on to it. So yeah, it's nice that you're staying a longer time and have really been able to delve in. Yeah.
And I think you can sort of, not that I perceive myself as any sort of a philosopher, but you're just sort of going for a walk in between doing things. You just like have all these quite expansive thoughts, I would say, about sort of different things, as we were saying, like you're looking in these rock pools with so many like geographic layers. Geological layers. And,
geographic sounded great.
Geological layers, and then you sort of start to see that sort of same iteration of what was going on in the sky the night before, and then you start to have all these sort of like questions of scale, and then sort of humbling as well. You just sort of, and then I think also because you're on this island, you just see the weather's like waving past you all the time, and you look up and it's cloudy, and then you look up and then there's beams of sunlight coming from the clouds, and then like suddenly there's two eagles flying past. And so I find it quite amusing that when you have on your laptop the screensaver is these like panoramas that are so dynamic, and you sort of want to dive into them, and then I look up from mine, it's like, oh, this is better. real life is
it's kind of it always strikes me how frequently the skies change here. But just quickly going back to the scale thing, I think that's something I always think about, of this island it kind of amplifies real life. It gives you like a step back, like almost like you've been sucked out of perspective, and you can see your normal life almost like I just visualize it in like a little disc almost, and I can see it really for what it is. And I think being somewhere so beautiful and special and ever changing, it kind of it just makes you think about the real world over there, but this is obviously even more real than that. And it's the perspective and scale of things, like with your practice, I think you can do that as well. You can really pull it back and see, okay, what am I actually thinking about? Where do I want to go? And like we said at the start, who am I? Like what are you trying to say? Like you can get tangled up in it.
And I think that's what's been really interesting about being here, that I was in a tangle of what I was needing to do, and so actually sort of just pulling those threads out and sort of just like spreading them out on the table, so to speak.
Physically, it feels like you can actually do it, really. Everything's a bit clearer.
And I think that's sort of, I think there's also something to do with horizon as well. You sort of look up metaphorically, but also physically.
Totally. And being surrounded by a body of water, I think that does something. And so close, on such a small island. And, knowing you can walk 2 kilometres around it, and that's kind of it. I think that does something.
I think there's also this lack of distraction is the wrong. It's kind of the wrong way, because actually I feel that I've been way more active in my brain and in my conversations, and it's not that there's a lot of my friends, it looks so peaceful and have a wonderful time, and of course that is all happening, but I think my brain is more active than ever. And you've seen my nutty notebook. It's like full of like midnight scribbles and sort of notes made in the daytime, and so I think you sort of want to not document those reflections, but I think it could be actually quite funny to formalize them, or more than funny, but interesting.
It's not a switch off, it's a switch on.
Definitely.
Even though it appears to be a switch off retreat, it isn't. It's like suck you in and spit you out. Like
I think it's like a supercharge, actually.
Supercharged, super weather. Crazy. I mean, we've not experienced crazy weather yet, but it does get like the wind. It blows you over.
Well, I mean, just sitting in the cabin now, I was just doing a little like pre-dinner sewing. Sort of a new thing that sort of came through my fingertips through being here. But the wind starts to howl, and it actually is a little bit not intimidating, but you sort of get reminded Mother Nature can kick your ass if she wants to here.
Absolutely. I mean, last night with the Northern Lights view and the whatever that bird was, that sound hasn't left.
Forgot about that.
Kind of haunting, like echo throughout the water. You could just hear it so clear. Stuff like that, like just being, I think it's the being connected to sound again that you just can't hear because of the city, or because of whatever, or blocking out nature in our big houses, big brick houses. But going outside of a building, you just like you're exposed to it, I think. And that does something. I think there's maybe it's lack of audible sound is one thing, but I think in a way that now I sound a bit nuts, like the voices in my head get louder. The thinking gets louder, maybe that's the right way to put it. The physical sounds are quieter, but the physical thinking is louder. Totally.